welcome back to LinkedIn Logs. This is the jobs podcast for the website cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. I'm your host, Chad White, and if you didn't know, I sit here sometimes and I talk about jobs. All of the podcasts for the website cpluscomedy.com went dark last week. One, because it was a holiday week and I just didn't feel like doing anything. And two, I was hit by a car. It's very true. I was riding my bike on July 4th, coming back from a celebration of the Peachtree Road Race, when I was just smacked by a car. I'm going to roll up the sleeve if you're watching the video. I'm wearing a shirt that has not been seen before. It is the shirt of the country club that I used to work at. Yeah, I quit. Anyway, and then the following week I get hit by a car. But yeah, I was just coming down the street and I was in the bike lane and everything. Guy hit me. So there you go. I had to go to the hospital. I got up and they were like, "You need to go to the hospital." People were like, "You need to go to the hospital." I was like, I can't afford that. And then the people were like, the people that picked me up were very nice. I was texting one of them this morning. She was like, no, their insurance will take care of it. I was like, you're right. I was bleeding from the side of my head. Oh, it hurts though. So here we are. What's been going on in terms of jobs? Well, last week, obviously, nothing was going on. I could have applied to 1,000 jobs last week and nobody responded, which is insane. I'll start off with this. I had an interview yesterday. 6 months without, somebody reaching out. And I finally had an interview today. I think last year when I started at CNN, the interview was at CNN, I had an interview and then I was hired in July. So July is my month, baby. Oddly enough, August is my month to be broken up with. Very true. I think for like 3 or 4 years straight, I was broken up with in August. Summer, it's the middle of summer, almost the end of summer. People get ready for fall. They're like, I don't want to be with this guy. Every woman, I don't want to be with this guy at all. I had this interview. I got an email on Monday. Hey, we'd love to talk to you. Great. It did not come through any recruiter. It was the hiring person themselves. It was wonderful just to email somebody and have it be that succinct. Now, I will tell you, and I told this person this. I didn't know what job it was for. Because right now, if I go to my Warner Media Workday page, which is loading up as we speak, I'm really good at vamping, trust me. I've been doing this for years. I have 8 applications into Warner Bros. Discovery. I think 6 are active, 2 are not. One's from March 20th, one's from January 22nd. Well, I don't know why. Just like, if they're not active, then take them down. I'm under consideration for all of them, which is good. Remember, you don't want to be in progress under your application status for a work day. You want to be under consideration. In progress means somebody has to physically go in there and check out what you did on your application. Under consideration means you passed that robot or whatever that they're looking at, that they use. So the person emailed me. I had no clue what job this was for. They just said, "Hey, let's we're interested. Let's talk." And I said, "Great, let's do it." I did it yesterday. So the next day, we had a nice conversation at 1:15 p.m. And I'm being vague on purpose. And it's a freelance opportunity, which is fine. We had a nice chat. The CNN is a 24-hour news thing, which means the job hours are all over the place. But there seems to be some work from home things. Did I misspell judgment? I sure did. Left it in my notes. I misspelled judgment. I'm looking at the notes from the thing. I also told them I was taking notes. And I was like, hey, if I'm looking away from the screen, just know that I'm taking notes. This staffing, they're like 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. or 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. They do have a 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. and a 5 p.m. to 1 a.m., which is both are like bridge shifts for people helping out the London team. There is some work from home, which is good. Work from home type. And if you're a freelancer, you know, you're not like fully employed by Warner, which means you don't have to abide by all the rules, which means you can work from home entirely. Come in the office one day. And then so there's at one point, this is very interesting. So again, I did not know the role. And I asked the hiring person, hey, what job is this? Because I've applied to a lot. He's like, oh, it's an AP role. Oh, thank goodness. Because I had no idea what it was. I'm looking on my candidate thing, on my applications. I'm like, I don't know which one of this is. But it'd be nice. And I ended the conversation, especially working from home. Oh my God, that'd be fantastic. I would just love to do that. But we ended the conversation. Then I received an email. This is a very funny thing. I received an email from the hiring person. Hey, by the way, who's your manager at CNN? I'd love to ask them about you. And I went, oh God, I don't think that person liked me. That's very true. I wouldn't want my enemies to tell somebody else about me. And yeah, I called that person my enemy. I have plenty of enemies. All at previous workplaces. Some at the gym. I got some people at the gym I dislike. Some disrespectful people at the gym. So there's that. That's all it was. It's been a lot of that. And I also wanted to. I was going to do an episode last week, and I do have information written down for it. And I just want to mention this in passing. I don't want to take any more tests. If I apply to something via Indeed, and they ask for like tests, I don't do it. Now you may say, "Oh, you have to do it because you want to get the job." Listen. If this is ridiculous to have to continually take a test, a customer service based test. I'm better than that. I don't want to do that. That is a waste of my time. Test and to do like a 30-minute test only to hear back, sorry, we went with somebody else. No, I'm not doing tests anymore. Now, if I'm talking to the hiring person of a job and they go, hey, we just want to give you an assignment. I'm going to do one assignment. I'm not doing 3 or 4. Also, that's a new thing. We have to have respect for ourselves. And if you're wasting my time by making me be on Indeed taking 20, 30, 40-minute tests, or B, you're sending me 3 different assignments, I'm not getting paid for that. No, we're done. Okay, that's all I wanted. I just wrote down no more tests. All right, let's move on. We have a couple of stories I want to tackle. This comes from Variety. So we know IATSE. Actually, hold on. Let me go back because I don't know if I did this in the last episode. Let's see. Hybrid work was the last episode. Nope. All right, I didn't do it. Great. Perfect. So we know IATSE has signed an agreement with the studios. That's great. That was a couple of weeks ago. Now, the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees have also, in that agreement, they signed what, as Gene Mattis reports from Variety, IATSE agreement clears way to use artificial intelligence as a tool. So artificial intelligence is going to be used in the industry in some capacity, and we just have to get used to it. We just have to mitigate what's going to happen up front. There's going to be limitations, and the agreement between the major studios and IATSE, which represents film crews, they're going to be very strict over it. The deal provides that workers may ask their employers for a consultation about AI use, that a committee will be set up to offer AI skills training, and that AI use cannot be outsourced to non-union labor, which means you can't scab. Like if there happens to be another strike, they can't go, okay, well, let's if the sound department is striking, then let's just give this to somebody who's worked in sound, and they can use AI tool Alpha to fix up the audio for this movie so we can put it out on time. Tool is a very important word. That's the key term here when it comes to AI. And if we keep referring to it as a tool, then hopefully studios and audiences and people who utilize AI will see that it's not something that can be relied on right now at this point in time, that can be relied on to make the TV shows, to make the movies, to make the music, to make the paintings, the drawings, cartoons, whatever, video games. The deal provides that if workers use their own AI system, they can charge a kit rental fee, the same as they would for sound recording equipment or some other employee-owned gear, which is why the tool analogy fits. IATSE contracts already provide for severance pay and retraining if a member loses their job due to quote-unquote technological change. That language would apply to job losses incurred as a result of AI. The new contract adds language that no employee will be forced to input prompts that displace their other union workers. Oh, God. I think in terms of AI use, that is the first deal signed by a Hollywood union that is allowing some sort of legal AI toolkit use. Versus, I think for writers and for actors and producers and directors, there was just a no AI clause or something like that. For now. Eventually, we're just going to have to turn into it. All right. I had this interview with CNN yesterday. And even though the guy asked for my previous manager, felt pretty good. And then I check my email this morning. I check C Plus Comedy's email account. This comes from Deadline. I get this sent directly to the account. Written by Ted Johnson. CNN to reduce staff by about 100 as CEO unveils new details of one newsroom strategy. Digital subscription offering planned for later this year. A CNN digital subscription offering was going to come at some point. Fox News has their streaming platform, and for a lack of a better term, that is their digital subscription offering. I don't know if they have written things that come along with it, but every news platform has a subscription offering. New York Times, Wall Street Journal, you can donate to NPR. The Atlantic, The New Yorker, New York Magazine, Vox. I'm just looking at things that are in my favorites. I believe CNBC has one too. And The Wrap. I can't even go to The Wrap anymore. But this is how they make their money, and this is how they're going to make extra money. And for CNN, this is how they're going to make extra money. So Mark Thompson, who is the CEO of CNN, mentioned this in a new memo that came out to staff today. They're going to merge linear and digital news gathering, and they're going to have about 100 people be let go. CNN's workforce is about 3,500. This is a quote from Thompson. We want to build on CNN.com's reach and with a new focus on engagement and frequency. How long are users? Okay, whatever. By improving the quality of the product experience and giving users powerful reasons to come back to us more often. He said that the subscription offerings will be, quote, want to use paid offerings that will be anchored by lifestyle journalism. Now, to me, lifestyle journalism sounds a lot like some things like in the New York Times sections that I see. There's my favorite New York Times section is, or series, I guess, is it's called The Hunt. And it's a very fun series where in the real estate section you follow a couple or a person or a family buying a home in New York or in Italy or in Colorado or whatever, and they just choose. You have to choose between three. They tell you their needs, like, oh, this couple was recently married in 2021, and they're looking for a home in the Connecticut suburbs, but he works in the city of New York, so they want to find a good place next to a train. And do you have all their stipulations, and it's a great thing to see. And then they give you the options that they looked over, and then you get to choose which one you would choose, and then which one you thought they would buy, and then they tell you which one they bought, and then boom, and you read about it. Anyway, it's a fun, silly thing, and I love it. And that's what this lifestyle thing seems. CNN already has a lot of lifestyle posting on. Okay, well, that didn't take me to CNN.com. CNN already has a lot of lifestyle posting on the website. I see Shrek 5 is up top with Lionel Messi and the Alec Baldwin trial, and there's a London manhunt. Wow. Oh my goodness. Jesus, that was a serious thing. Why is Shrek 5 up top with live updates? I will say this. In this new CNN.com offering, the subscription offering, I would hope that they redo the website. This is, and it's, and I'll say this. This is for every news website save for The Atlantic and Vox, and maybe NPR. There's so much crap on screen, so many stories that are just all over the place. And I get it. I'm on the New York Times right now. I get it. You have a front page story, and then you have on the left hand side, and then on the right side, on the right third, you have a big story. And then below that, we've got politics and all this stuff. I want to look at less. And I'm not saying make it minimalist, because I think story discovery does happen on this front screen. Like right now, I see an In Case You Missed It section on the New York Times, and here's one of the articles. What do bag chickens have to do with sliced cheese? I want to read that. Or how about this one, the booty shaking anthem that still endures 25 years later, and it's about juveniles back that ass up. Oh, it's a wonderful song. I love it. It's an interview with him and Manny Fresh. Oh, I'm gonna read this. See, that's fantastic. But that gets lost in this scrum of things on the front page, and it's even worse for CNN. They're gonna make during the interview yesterday, I learned that obviously video for CNN is the big moneymaker, and also you get quite literally more people watch video, and also you get more money from video. People will read the essays, they'll read articles and everything. But if they see a video with, Anderson Cooper talking to Nancy Pelosi, then people are going to click on that and watch that more often than they're going to click on an article that says Kate Beckinsale says she was hospitalized for 6 weeks amid health troubles caused by stress and grief. And that's no offense to that story. It's just that video is easier to digest for this world that is often not ready to read or anything. Now, I knew at some point that linear and digital was going to become one thing. In the memo, Thompson wrote that the U.S. news gathering, international news gathering, and global digital news would be one organization led by Virginia Moseley, and that they would serve all platforms. So that means you're going to see a lot more cross-pollination between linear and the TV and digital stuff. And that includes the website. That includes the social team. That includes international. That includes the app. Because people who don't use the app, which includes me, I already have I got New York Times, NPR, Wall Street Journal. I'm good on my phone. But people who don't use the app are missing out on some things that happen on television. And they're also missing, and also if you just watch CNN, you don't read CNN, you're also missing out on things that happen online. So they're all going to be touching everything. And I will say this about CNN. On CNN on Max, we've got the live programming, which is great. And then there's a hub, so you can have all of these CNN, I don't know if they're shows, but you can have CNN adjacent shows, news adjacent shows and documentaries and movies and all that stuff, all in the CNN section of Max. And one thing that I've noticed is that they've introduced smaller bite-sized form shows. Like there's one called 5 Things hosted by Kate Baldwin. You're going to see CNN is creating a TV Futures Lab, which will develop and manage streaming and video on demand programming for Max. The lab also will develop new ways to migrate linear news to other digital offerings, which has been one of Thompson's chief goals. The 5 Things series will be extended on Max and to an on-demand show on CNN.com. So I think we're just going to see everything integrate a little bit more smooth. I mean, if smooth or not, it's just going to be more integrated, and whether we want it that way or not. This subscription thing, I can't say that it's going to change the needle for CNN. The Atlantic has always been a subscription platform. The New York Times has been a subscription platform. But look at what happened when those platforms went from strictly online and digital offerings and newspapers to television. The New York Times TV show on Hulu, while it was on and Hulu and FX, I guess it's FX on Hulu, while it was a good documentary series, it was a little bit too much of its own thing. It was too much in its own self. A lot of the first episodes of the New York Times show on Hulu were self-indulgent. I remember the reviews from that. It felt like they were trying to do Vice in that sense. And what was it called? The Weekly? That was one of the shows, and they had another one. Now, and the New York Times docs or whatever. I'm not saying that CNN should stick to what it is, but because I don't know the writing offerings that they have, and maybe that's telling of the situation at hand. But they can utilize video in a way that others could not. I'm going to read this story. I'm going to put it in my bookmarks. And finally, this comes from the Wall Street Journal. American workers have quit quitting for now, written by Ray A. Smith. Numerous surveys show that fewer U.S. adults are currently seeking to leave their roles compared to the job-switching frenzy of the pandemic years. Other data suggests job satisfaction is rising, and in interviews, formerly job-hopping workers say they are content with the balance they've struck in the positions they have. Those who have attempted to make a jump face a tightening job market and shrinking pay premium for switching jobs, federal data show. This person needs to, or their editor needs to add a couple of S's to words in these sentences. Yeah, job. I've never understood when numbers showed that job hopping was a thing. It's I mean, especially for people in my generation, it was the hardest thing. I've never been able to job hop. Are you kidding me? Man, if I could, I would have done it. And also, no, I would have been content. But people are staying put. And I'll tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you the job market is tough out there. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter right now what education you have, how affluent you are, how many people you know. Unless you know the right person. That's all that matters. A poll from April shows, oh my God, my headphone is dying. All right, anyway, a poll from April, no, it's back. A poll from April shows that 35% of U.S. adults plan to look for another job in the second half of this year, which is down from 49% a year ago, according to Robert Half, the workplace consulting and recruiting firm. Robert Half sucks. They post jobs on LinkedIn sometimes, and I never, ever, ever get a callback, get a audition. What's it called? Interview. Oh, God, give me a show. Of 1,000 workers polled, 77% said they were happy with their jobs and 85% reported to a good work-life balance. Another recent study of 2,800 working adults by MetLife found 73% were satisfied with work, and 69, which is up from 69% a year ago. The number of U.S. workers who quit their jobs in 1 month peaked at 3% in April 2022, according to Labor Department data, prompting many employers to boost salaries, give more time off, and other flexible schedules in an attempt to retain talent. Since then, the U.S. rate of quitting has drifted below pre-pandemic levels to 2.2%, where it has held steady so far this year. You know, these numbers are I guess nice to see, but there's a lot of factors that go into people not quitting anymore. It's the fact that, yes, you have a better work-life balance, but also, you know, if there's nothing out there, then you're going to be smart and stay. I don't know a lot of people I know some people who took sabbaticals, who quit their jobs and took sabbaticals, but that's because, you know, they could. But now there's a lot more that goes into it. The job market's smaller. There's less reason to leave. Boy, oh boy, I wouldn't leave nothing if I could. The shift in sentiment is even more stark among young workers. Gen Zers plan on looking for a new job in the second half of 2024, fell to 44%, down from 74% last year, according to research from Robert Half. Millennials planning to find new jobs dropped to 45% from 63%. Don't show me a 26-year-old who's like, oh, I left my job in 2022. Get out of here. You're fine. You got a job. It's people are restless in their positions, and I think, you know, we're so far removed from the pandemic that the idea of quitting is a lot easier to mitigate than the idea that a big event like that's going to happen again, which is going to change everything up. And, you know, maybe people, this is just a theory, maybe people got what they needed out of the you know, when the pandemic happened, and then the world's opening back up in 2022 and 2023, maybe people have spent the last year or so getting out, doing whatever they needed to do, traveling, finding a job that hits the sweet spot, and working on themselves and working on that work-life balance that is so coveted. And then they settle and they go, this is close to what I've wanted, or what I've gotten, or what I've needed. And even if everything's not going to be in tip-top shape, but you can say, hey, I can suck up going to the office twice a week and working from home the other days, or 3 times a week, or however many days, and now I'm going to be fine. Who knows? Okay, listen, if you like what you heard here, this is one of the most salient episodes I've done. If you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where I talk to famous people. There's some more interviews coming, I promise. It's been a couple of months. Oh, man, we're back to 2021 numbers again. If you like what you heard here, website what's going on. If you want to see a video version of this show, as well as video versions of the other shows, Late Night Lately, which is the late night show, and the Constitutionals podcast, which is the entertainment business news podcast, head to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. where you can also see News Time, is coming back, I promise. I'm already getting prepared for it. She's going to make a theme song. And then you can also listen to these shows wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at C+ Comedy. Me on those platforms at Chad Black White. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.